welcome to my sewing room. I'm Tia and this is Dorset.Threads. So I've got quite a few things sewn up, and one of them is obviously what I'm wearing today, which is a Think Pink subscription box fabric from September, and I'm really happy with this one. So let's get started. So yeah, I've got my new Butano, I think that's how you say it, Butano button-up shirt by Friday Packing Company on today, made up in the cotton poplin that came in the box. It's this lovely Mystic Garden pink cotton poplin with the blue accent on it. There was 3 colourways. I think there was a black one with sort of a goldy beige accent, and then also sort of a natural colour with a brownie accent on it. But yeah, I'm super happy with this colourway. I will put a clip in here of me standing up and showing you how I've styled it today with some blue trousers that I've gotten on. And what I like about this shirt is that it's ideal as a layering piece, so I can wear like a little vest top underneath and have it open. We've had a storm here, Storm Amy in the UK, and it's definitely feeling more wintry. I did opt for the short sleeves because I think day to day that's probably what I will get the most use out of, and I can layer it up, as I say, with a little top underneath and a cardigan on top. So let's start at the beginning of the week. So what was the first things that I managed to get done? Well, as I mentioned in my previous video, I had something on hold because I hadn't had enough fabric, and that was the little set I was making for the little guy in our family, and it was the doggy set that in the wood green with the dogs across the sweatshirt that I was keen to make up for him. And I was waiting for the fabric to come because the lovely Andrea from Pink Door had found some fabric for me because I had miscalculated and not cut out the back bodice. Well, I'm happy to say I got that sorted and I got it sewn up. Super quick make once you've got all the pieces, and I have already given it to him, tried it on and all the things. He's got it with him. I'll put a little video or montage up here of some clips that I took. He doesn't stay still for very long, but I managed to get a few clips of him so you can kind of see the idea, and I'm really happy with that. And yeah, his mum and dad are super happy with it as well. And then the next thing that came along was the Atelier Jupe winter collection release. Yeah, I have my top here lurking in the back, but basically they released their winter collection of fabrics and 3 patterns to accompany those. Well, actually one was a sort of a rejig or a 2.0 version of a dress that they'd already released, but they added, I think, different sleeves and a waist tie detail. It's quite a thick tie, and I saw that made up. The lovely Tamlin from Sew on the Time made that up, and the other ladies have made the Pippa dress and yeah, the blouses and all sorts. So yeah, so you've got the Pippa dress, the Jamie dress and the Alexa blouse. So I was gifted the pattern by Andrea at Beyond the Pink Door as a Sew Inspired ambassador, and I've got that sewn up pronto, and I just used a fabric that I had in my stash. So this is a Dashwood Viscose, and it's been in my stash for 4 years, and I've always been waiting for the perfect garment, and I think this is the one. So I decided to make the blouse, as I said. Let me just bring it a bit closer. Oh, she's tall, not taller than me. So yeah, you needed fabric with a bit of drape, which this Viscose also obviously has. The sleeves are big. I actually sized down, so I looked at the instructions, and obviously you had the recommendations for the sizing, and I decided to size down. But when I looked at the finished garments, actually there was so much ease in it. I thought, well, I might just see if I can go as low as I can, because being short, I didn't want too much volume to overwhelm me. So I actually made the smallest size, which is unheard of for me. So I made the smallest size, but that doesn't mean to say that the pattern pieces and the volume wasn't there. This is the pattern piece for the sleeve, and as you can see, she's a big one. Epic. I obviously took length out of the sleeve. I took 5 inches because I obviously got little T-Rex arms that match my height. So yeah, I took the 5 inches out of the length of the sleeve and only 2 out of the actual bodice, because I thought, well, I can always tuck it in and have it blouson or whatever they call it. So yeah, that worked out really well. I'll put in again a little clip of me wearing it so you can kind of see how it fits and you know, drapes. You've got gathering here and a nice little I think it would be like I used to call these the granddad collars, but yeah, a little collar here. So you've got pleating in the back, which obviously takes a lot of the volume, but it actually hangs really well. So you've got the volume here and not so much on the sides, which is like gives a really good silhouette. Then you've got the cuffing, and there is an option to have, this is like the solid cuff, but you also have the option to have a cuff with buttons, and obviously it can open then. But just for speed, because I just wanted to make it up, I decided to go for the solid cuff. So it's got a double yoke, but the pattern has you burrito the yoke, but not into the back of the yoke, but into the shoulder seams as such. So yeah, all the seam is therefore hidden inside, so that's a nice clean finish. And obviously I just decided to put some clear buttons on the front, some small buttons, and I'm really pleased with that. And I was actually quite surprised how much I loved it, and I've never made an Atelier dupe pattern before, and I noticed that quite a few of their patterns have a lot of gathering and volume, which I always sort of am a bit cagey about because of my height. But actually it's really proportional, so the pattern really does give you the look without being too much. And as I say, size down and it's perfectly fine, because there's so much ease, you're not going to have issues. The only slight caveat I would say with that is the arm's eye on me felt a little snug but not tight, so I could actually size up, but I think it's more of a case of I need to wear it more and just see how I get on before I make another one. But yeah, I'm really pleased with that one. So that was my next make. Obviously the Atelier dupe fabrics also complement the patterns that have come out, and I've got my eye on a couple of those. I just think they'd be perfect to make these up. So I just want to get some wear out of this to be 100% sure that I've got the fit right, and then I will be making some more, because I think that they're very easily worn and dressed up. And yeah, I was really pleased with that make. I don't know if I showed this on the last video. I had started at the stage just making it up in some lightweight calico. My original one, I'd taken volume out of the front chest, and when I made it up and tried it on, it was a bit too snug, so I scratched that idea and then just took length off overall for my height and went from there. And I made up my next one in this lovely Lazy McElroy poplin, again from Beyond the Pink Door. This came in the subscription box this time last year, I think August or maybe August last year, and it's Lady McElroy Suzette cotton poplin. And again, it's been sat in my stash waiting for the ideal project. So I thought I'm going to sew this one up. So I made the calico, and then I thought I'm going to sew it up. So I started this at the Sewing Social that I go to in Southampton. I think I did mention this in the last video, and I got a ways with it, and then actually got it finished. This one is obviously the long sleeves, because I wanted to make the sleeves version to actually see how they fit and or how they hit on me, because I don't particularly like something that's too long. It sort of drown me out. And yeah, I made this one up, and I'll again put some footage here of me wearing it, and I do really like it. The only thing that I did notice is when I've got it buttoned up, it was a little snug over the hips. So when it's buttoned up, it's fine, but then when I turn around, I feel like the pleat in the back doesn't sit quite right. So you've got this box pleat here, I think it's called a box pleat, and it was just pulling a little bit at the hips. So again, as a layering piece, this is absolutely perfect, you know, and because of all the colours in it, I can wear a little top underneath and colour coordinate pretty well. I did put the pocket on again because I wanted to see where it would sit with me, because often patterns, when you put the pocket on, they don't sit right, especially if I've tinkered about with volume in the top of the pattern, but obviously I hadn't on this one, so it was good. I just put some transparency clear, they're not clear, but yeah, some kind of neutral buttons on this one, because I didn't want the buttons to really take over from the print. So yeah, so I got that one sewn up. So that was another one done, and then I moved on and cut this one out. So what I decided to do was I added the extra onto the hip. So effectively I graded from medium to large, from the bust to the hip, just to give me that little bit of extra ease at the hips. And I think it's worked quite well. I think I will get the most wear out of this just as a layering piece, you know, open and things like that, because I'm not quite used to wearing a button-up shirt. The only other thing I did was I did find that the collar was quite large, quite substantial for me. So when I went from the Lady McElroy Suzette version to this one, I did shave off just a smidge on the width here. I do feel it's still a bit big, but I just think that I'm just not used to wearing a collar up around my neck. And to be honest, I would never button right up to the top anyway. It's probably because the actual pattern comes with a neckerchief that you have the option of putting a loop onto the underside of the collar, and then you can obviously have it at the front, tie it up, have it loose, whatever. So it needs that little bit of extra there for it to sit nice. But yeah, I think it's just a case of me getting used to it. You have these things, don't you? You don't know until you try them whether they're going to be for you and if you're going to wear them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to wear it and go from there, obviously, because if I put it away, I won't know if it's for me. But yeah, I'm really pleased with it. So what I'm going to do is wear it and just see how I get on with it, because it might just be something I'm hyper focusing on because it's a new make, a fresh make, and I'm sort of looking at every little detail and sort of overthinking it. But yeah, I'm happy with that, and it does go really well with my blue trousers, but hopefully you can see that in the footage that I have put in here. And so yeah, I'm pleased to have made that up, and I've made a fair few garments here with the obviously the Alexa blouse, and then my first version of this one, and then yeah, this one here. So yeah, I've had quite a few makes this week, so I'm pleased with that. So after a few involved makes, I wanted to do something a bit more simple, sort of a palette cleanser, if you will, but also something that I need to make up, or I wanted to make up, that was on my list. And I'd recently bought a few fabrics when I'd gone and visited Beyond Pink Door, and I had earmarked a couple of those for long sleeve layering tops, and I decided to go for the Atelier and the Buttons Agnes top. This version here has the ruche sleeves, and you can also have, if you look, you can also have gathering at the bust. But I just wanted a basic layering piece, so for me it would just have been this one, because I knew that I could get it under cardigans and things without the ruche shoulders, and I'm quite happy with just the sort of more basic top. So I decided to go with some fabric that I had in my stash, which is always a winner. I decided to go for this smoky grey effect. It's a Juliet jersey by Lady Macaro. I think it's called Mia. I think that's what it's called. And I had this in my stash for a while. I've made t-shirts from it before, and I had enough to make the long sleeve version of this Agnes top. And I just wanted to check on the fit and how much fabric it took. And yeah, so I decided to go for this one, and it's got this lovely scoop neck. I put in a little label, and yeah, so that'll be ideal as a layering piece. I think that it'll be ideal for the fabric that I have intentions for. And the fabric that I want to make it up in is this lovely one that I got from Beyond the Pink Door. And it's lovely blues and lilacs and pinks. And this one is called Urban Pastel, I think it is. It's a Stoff of Denmark Echo Vera jersey. And it's got a 4-way stretch, which is really good. And again, it's just going to be ideal to make that pattern as a long sleeved top. So I've still got, this is actually the remnants, I've still got plenty that I might actually just make a basic t-shirt up as well. But yeah, I've got it cut out, got all the pieces ready to go, and I think once I get my it under the sewing machine, it won't take too long. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to making that one up, and that means that I've got a couple more pieces for the cooler weather that you can layer up if you get really cold, and ideal for the colours, because the pinks, the blues, obviously the grey will go pretty much with anything. That fits in really well with my current wardrobe. So I'll see if I can put a picture on of the grey version that I've made, just so you can see the fit of it. So the idea is, obviously it's form fitting without being super tight, which is kind of what you want if you want to then wear it tucked in or under a shirt or things like that, under a cardigan. It's ideal. So that's kind of the way that I'm thinking. Get the layers in, because one minute you're fine and then you get cold and then you get a bit overheated again, and you can easily regulate that if you've got layers. So look at me, I've got quite a few sewn up this week. So I've managed to sew up a storm, not Storm Amy, but I've sewn up a storm of quite a few bits and pieces this week, which are just the ideal things that I had on my list for this time of year. So yeah, definitely in full swing of doing those things. So the week going ahead, I obviously want to get my long sleeve top sewn up that I've just shown you and think about what I want to sew up next. But the exciting thing is at the end of the week, I'm actually going to the Knitting and Stitching Show. I've never been to the Knitting and Stitching Show and I'm really looking forward to it. The only craft show I've ever been to was the one that I went recently with friends in Farnborough, the Farnborough Creative Craft Show. That's a mouthful. So I'm off to London to Alexander Palace. Now we're going with a group of friends from the social that I go to, run by Carly, who is the sort of founder and owner of Rooted Fabrics, and we go to the social obviously once a month. There was a fair few of us that wanted to go to the Knit and Stitching Show, now called the Knit and Stitch Show I believe, and she decided to arrange it, so we're all going together. We're meeting up at a certain place, hopping on a bus or coach, and yeah, we're having a day at the Knit and Stitching Show, and it's going to be a long day, but I'm really looking forward to going, because to be quite honest, I probably wouldn't go otherwise if I didn't have the transport laid on, because it's not somewhere that I'd feel comfortable driving to. So I'm really looking forward to going with that group of people, and it's going to be a really long day, but it's going to be fantastic to be driven there and yeah, enjoy the day and then driven home again. So it's going to be a long day, and obviously it's going to be a bit overwhelming because I've heard it's, you know, so big. I'm going to try and compile a bit of a list so I at least have a bit of direction of what I want to look at and think about buying, and try not to get too overwhelmed. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and I will obviously update you next week of how I got on. So any other sewists out there heading along to the Knit and Stitching Show? As I say, I'm going on the Saturday, which I think is going to be the busiest day, but hopefully I can get close enough to the stalls and the places to see everything, and you know, have a look at the fabrics and everything else that is going to be there. Do you go there with any ideas of what you might be buying? Do you compile a list? Are you strict with what you might be buying, with budgets and lists and plans and things? I've kind of got half a dozen of one, half a dozen the other. I want to kind of enjoy the process of going and looking around, but I think I also need to rein myself in a little bit, because if I don't have a list, oh goodness only knows how much I will end up coming back with. I guess it's only as much as you can carry, thinking about it. Oh, that's the other thing, yeah, bags. I need to think about what bags I take. Yeah, I think I need to put a bit of thought into actually what I need to take on the Saturday with me and go from there. If you've got any tips about going to the Knit and Stitch Show, they would be greatly appreciated, about, you know, what bags you take and how you manage to get around the show and how you plan things out for your day. That'd be fantastic if you can pass those on to me, and I will keep you updated obviously next week with another video of what I've been up to, and yeah, we can go over how I got on. So that's me for today, and I hope that you have enjoyed my video. If you've managed to watch through till now, thank you very much. And obviously I will update you again how I've gotten on for the week and what I've bought, and shall reveal all in the next video of how I got on at the Knit and Stitch Show, and go from there. So until then guys, bye bye, see you next time.